Came through the city looking at the sunrise, thinking they don't had no idea. See this real, my nigga.
Good evening, everyone. Welcome back once again to Vicious Rants, and of course, I'm your host, your YouTube Messiah, and often imitated, never duplicated superstar Tim Vicious, and we are going to be going over with this week's show now. Now, this week's Raw was in Anaheim, California, and before we go into that, we're going to, like I said before, we're going to start doing the SmackDown from the week prior. So we are going to kick off with the SmackDown Rewind. I don't know, I like that name for that little segment. How about you guys? Yeah, okay, we'll go with that. The SmackDown Rewind from last week. Now, not gonna lie, really, the only thing that was really impressive on it was the fact that, you know, they wound up having that last week's SmackDown wound up having American Alpha make their debut, but it was honestly, it was really nothing more but of a squash match. And not only that, SmackDown, since it started going live, they've had, aside from the draft, it was just, they've been having nothing but squash matches and, you know, matches that really haven't, like, delivered the wow factor yet. I mean, the only thing that really has wowed me since SmackDown has gone live is, one, they used a Brock Lesnar appearance on SmackDown Live, unannounced, on there last week to go after Randy, and two, last week also in the main event, Dolph Ziggler put his #1 contendership on the line against Bray Wyatt. Bray injured his ankle, and everyone knows from the infamous WrestleMania 30 injury that he had right before his match with Undertaker. And it was the same injury as before. And you could see he rolled over, twisted it, and started slamming the mat like, no, damn it. Told the ref no, he wanted to finish the match. That is what impressed me. The fact that he just chose, no, I'm biting the bullet, I'll deal with the pain, and I'm working through this. And he chose to go through. Other than that, nothing else really. Now with that being said, let us move forward to this week's Raw. Raw started out with Enzo and Cass coming down to the ring. Enzo talking about how him and Sasha, you know, they were talking, starting to hit it off, feeling all kinds of good, getting up with her. And then Chris Jericho wound up coming in and, yeah, kind of, you know, did the cock block of it on him. Which case, you know, Enzo, if it wasn't for the fact that knew Sasha wound up getting married later in that week, I would have believed you. But, sorry, man. Sorry. But, yeah. And, yeah. Sasha got married, which case, yeah, all hundreds of fanboys, all bitching and whining and crying now, thinking that they had a chance. Dude, let's face facts, you wouldn't have. So get up, get going. Anyways, as they're in the midst of cutting a promo on John Von Jericho, as Enzo called him, out comes Jericho with a salt and pepper gray wig, an acoustic guitar, and started singing songs about DirecTV. Wait, no, I'm confusing fantasy with reality again. Damn it! I really gotta remember to start taking those meds. Okay. Jericho wound up coming out, talked about on how Enzo and Cass are like the little Looney Tunes cartoons, with Enzo being the little dog constantly following around Cass, who's the big dog, which, yeah. And then he said, you know, you always got someone to watch your back. Now I got someone to watch mine. And out comes Kevin Owens. So we've got now Owens and Jericho working together, which just brings up the two-man Canadian, which brings up now what kind of a tag team name should they have? The Jera Owens, the Owens Co., Y2KO, the Canadian Mega Powers. I don't know. Something like that. Y'all put your suggestions down below in the comments, you know. I'll make sure to, you know, I'll see on who says what. And, you know, if one's a really good one, I'll make sure to give y'all a shout on it. But, yeah. Owens comes out with him now. So now Owens says, I got your back, Chris. And then they proceed to the ring. And then Jericho looks Enzo dead in the eyes after they have a heated exchange with a promo. Says, if you don't back away now, you're gonna get it. In which case, if you are a parent, you know when you have to pull that line, because only parents threaten to use it on somebody. In which case, yeah, I've had to use it a few times myself, and it is not pretty. It is not nice at all. It is a complete load of BS that, you know, you just sit there and pray nobody ever calls your bluff on. But it winds up leading into the first match of the night, Jericho versus Enzo. And we'll say this, it was nice to see Enzo working the ring the way he was working it. He showed a few different moves, you know. It was pretty nice to see him working in that kind of a sense, because, yeah, let's be honest, Enzo, he's nothing more but he's pretty much the team punching bag. You know, anytime they do a tag match, he's the one that always gets there. He always gets put on the ass end of an ass kicking and then gets cast the hot tag. You know, would like to see Enzo get more time working the ring and being able to build more of a moveset. Aside from that, also was getting kind of annoyed with the fact that Enzo was pretty much spamming crossbodies during the match. He was just throwing them out like mad. It was like watching a game, like one of those WWE 2K games where somebody just keeps doing the same move over and over and over and over like that. You know? It's like, you know, yeah, but aside from that, Jericho, he pretty much controlled the match, you know. Which, again, like with Enzo, it's sad because, you know, a big firm believer in giving everyone the chance to show some potential. You know, let the kid have a chance to show he's got potential. Let him steer a match. Let him work and control one. But either way, match wound up ending in a DQ with Jericho getting the win when Enzo, he went to go up against the ropes. Owens grabbed his foot, distracted him, and then next thing you know, Enzo and Owens are arguing back and forth. Enzo turns around. Jericho, wham, hits him with a code breaker, and then Cash just comes right in, boom, hits him with a big boot, and then the ref calls for the bell. And big argument in regards to this. They said that the ref had no choice but to call for the bell after that. You see, what Cash should have done is, instead of going after Jericho, he should have gone after Owens first. Go after Owens for causing that, and then you go after Jericho. Because then that sends the proper message, because you took out the person who caused the distraction, and then you take out the person who capitalized on said distraction. But after the match, they wound up throwing at Enzo and Cass throughout the challenge to Owens and Jericho for a tag match at SummerSlam, which they gladly accepted, so now we got that match. Now, speaking of matches, next one up, it is the piss break match of the night. It is Braun Strowman versus Local Jobber in Anaheim, which case, Nomine Patri, Fiero Spiritu Santi. We'll say this though about with it. Do like the concept that they're starting to do with Braun, saying that, you know, paying this guy $1,000 to wrestle him. If he wins, we'll give him an extra $5. gives the potential to go and say, hey, we could start doing this, you know. Well, after we make him look big and bad enough, then we'll just do like the random money challenge like they did with Chris Masters doing the Master Lock challenge. Do that with Braun Strowman, and then you bring out somebody to go up against them, and boom. There you go. You got someone to go up against them. You got somebody to go either take him down so that way you can build that person up and make Strowman a good heel, or have Strowman have a legit actual match against the guy so that way he can then be established as a legit face. Random thought though. Anyways, next match up now, it is rematch from last week. Titus O'Neil versus Darren Young with Bob Backlund in Darren's corner. And this one, just like last week, Titus, he was powering over Darren the entire time, you know. But Darren wound up getting the win at the end using the same move as Titus did last week, using a roll-up, grabbing a handful of tights and pulling on it, doing 1, 2, 3, in which case, man, if Bob Backlund finds out on that, he is going to get pissed because he had to cheat to win. Mr. Backlund does not condone that type of behavior. But yeah. So that's that. Next matchup, we got another rematch from last week. Sheamus versus Cesaro. And this was a physical match. Just like last week, it was good point, counterpoint. It was a good point, counterpoint type matchup between them. Each time a guy would get like 3 or 4 sets of moves in. Next thing you know, boom. The other would reverse it. And it was working like that for majority of the match. You know. And that's it. It was really good. Really enjoyed it, you know. Well, you know, really hoping that, you know, the way that it, or shouldn't say what I'm hoping, sorry, brain farting, but what it's looking like is that we're going to wind up getting a match between these two down the road, most likely at SummerSlam, and I'll explain that in a moment. But anyways, Cesaro, he got the win. Now, unfortunately, one of my producers, Wade, neglected to wanna inform me on the said finishing maneuver Cesaro did to get the win. So I do apologize on that, but please feel free to go and bother him about that. You'll see that annoying little asshole on here every now and again. And if not on here, then on my Twitter at TimVicious. Yes, I did call you an annoying asshole. Deal with it. I called you it because you are one. This is why I like Ollie more than you. Next matchup, we got Dudley's versus Neville and mystery partner, and this was apparently a match that was made during the pre-show, and Neville's partner was Sin Cara. Sin Cara, I will say this, the gear that he came out in, kind of dug it because it had like an old school traditional kind of lucha look to it. You know, all black pants, black boots, you know. Mask was all the same, but no fancy coloring or design. It was just everything all black on it. You know, not saying like, oh yeah, big fan of black on black everything. Oh, like some fucking little fuck knuckle goth kid. No, I'm just saying it just had like an old school traditional lucha look. You know. But Dudley's, they were in good control this match pretty much, with Sin Cara starting it off right up until Neville got the hot tag. Once he got the hot tag in, they wound up going down, in which case, you know, I'm not going to lie, I can't really say I'm not that surprised because since the Dudleys, you know, lost their feud with the New Day and stepped out of the tag title chase, they really have not been at all redundant and or not redundant would want to say relevant in any way, shape, or form because, well, what are they doing? What are they going after? I mean, you could have them go on a mission saying they're trying to take out all the little guys in the WWE, but yeah, other than that, what else? You know, aside from that, you got to give them the tag titles. What else could you do? But yeah, match wound up coming to an end when Neville hit the red arrow on Devon and got the 1, 2, 3. So that was that. And next matchup, we got women's action with Sasha Banks versus Dana Brooke, and this was a particular type of match with a stipulation on if Dana won, Sasha would get them both in a Dana and Charlotte in a handicap match at SummerSlam. But if Sasha won, then Dana would be barred from ringside, and it would just be Sasha versus Charlotte one-on-one. Now, first things first, with this match, you know, want to say this part, Dana Brooke may want to invest in some ring gear that actually covers her back, because honestly, noticed a few times when she went to lean over, her outfit started to droop down some, and you know, somebody could have wanted the, you know, all it would take person to grab the gear by accident the one wrong way, next thing you know, boom, full show. And you want to try and cover that up on a PG program, man, you would hear people in freaking Istanbul would be hearing Vince yell, "God damn it," if that happened. You know? That being said, though, now we're back onto the match at hand. This was kind of a so-so match. I mean, not taking anything away from either girl. It's just, it was, not really that much excitement going on between it. I mean, yeah, Sasha, obviously, everyone knows with her. And everyone always constantly shits on Dana. But, you know, call ducking a duck and a spade a spade. She's still green, so you got to give her some time to grow. You know? Much like, yeah, now, and I know some of y'all are thinking, well, why don't you give that argument about Eva Marie? Like, the fact is, she's had that time to grow, and she has not. It's like I said before, give everyone a chance to show their opportunity. She showed her opportunity, and she was about as useful as shit in a punch bowl. So yeah. That being said, back to the lecture at hand with this match. Like I said, it was kind of so-so. Match wound up coming to an end, though, when Charlotte went to go take a shot at Sasha. Sasha moved out the way. Wham! Caught Dana. And then Sasha got out the ring, took Charlotte out, set up Dana in between the ropes, climbed up to the top, and double knee right to the gut on her. Got the 1, 2, 3, so that was that. So now it's Sasha Banks versus Charlotte for the title, one-on-one, no outside interference. Excuse me. Now, next matchup we got Kofi Kingston versus Luke Gallows, and this match is set up because last week when the New Day in the club, you know, Gallows and Anderson, they wound up giving Big E a nutcracker sweep through the ring, courtesy of the ring post, and now Big E is out indefinitely with a groin injury, which Gallows and Anderson have now officially dubbed ring postitis, which is pretty ballsy to say, you know, considering they haven't done any tests, haven't had any testy subjects to verify such nutty accusations. Okay, if you couldn't pick up all the ball reference jokes I was trying to make there, people, these are the jokes, folks. Work with me. But yeah. So Big E's out for a moment, which kind of sucks because Big E is pretty much like fucking promo god in WWE. You know, much like Matt Hardy's starting to become like that now in TNA with his fucking broken gimmick. Sorry about that, folks. Needed a swig. As far as with the match between Kofi and Gallows goes, this was pretty much a glorified squash match. Would say this was this would have gone under the piss break of the night, except this match actually had a meaning to it. Gallows, he was pretty much dominating the entire time. Got the win when he picked up Kofi from the outside of the apron, hoisted him up on his shoulders into a fireman's carry, and then picked him up to wham, get him with a flapjack, got the 1, 2, 3, and then after that, they proceeded to go and beat the crap out of Woods and Kofi, and then they were getting ready to go and give Kofi a nutcracker sweet until Woods stopped them. So we got a tag match coming up at SummerSlam between these two as well, and now it leads us to the main event of the night. Which, now before I get into the main event of the night, there was a segment that segued into that. Foley came out and wound up bringing out SmackDown's Daniel Bryan to address the whole Randy Orton, Brock Lesnar situation. And then Rusev came out saying, no. Monday Night Raw doesn't need a new champion. I'm its champion right here. If, if anyone's going to defend Raw, it would be the greatest GM ever, it would be Rusev right here. And then out comes Cesaro, who says, listen, Mick, I'm perfect. Listen, Mick, I've beaten Sheamus twice now, and you said I would get an opportunity to go against Rusev for a title shot. When am I getting it? And Foley said, now listen, Roman Reigns will get a shot at Rusev for the U.S. title at SummerSlam. But you did prove yourself, so you're going to have a match right now with Rusev. Which leads us to the main event of the night, which, honestly, I got to say was probably the match of the night because the emotion that was behind Cesaro with it. Not so much because of the match itself, but the emotion and the storytelling behind Cesaro in it. It was, and Cesaro just started right at the get-go, was on Rusev like stink on shit, From the moment the bell rang, right up until Rusev saw a small opening, next thing you know, started capitalizing, started working that bad shoulder of Cesaro's, started to get worried for a minute because he thought it legit wound up hurting it. And then eventually Cesaro wound up getting his second win and countered the accolade, which is pretty much the camel clutch, by getting Rusev up into an electric chair position. And for those uneducated, the electric chair position is when you got somebody just sitting on your shoulders and then you drop back like that. Yeah, he did that. And that's over 300 plus pounds deadlift on his shoulders while he's laying on the ground. Do not fuck with this man. Yeah, the guy could probably bench press a Cadillac without breaking a sweat. Don't fuck with Cesaro. But yeah, after that, he started to get his second win, was throwing out the uppercuts like mad, got the Cesaro swing in, and then locked in the sharpshooter. A hell of a lot better than Natty can, by the way. And then wound up, just as it looks like Rusev's about to tap, Sheamus runs down, Cesaro lets go, tries to take a swing at him, and then Rusev goes and cracks him. Match keeps going back and forth for a minute, right up until with the ending, there was a ref bump, and then Cesaro wound up hitting the neutralizer, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then he goes over, gets the ref, wakes him up, 1, 2, kick out. And then just after that, Rusev throws Cesaro into the rope. Sheamus, wham, bro kicks him, and then he gets up, and then Rusev, big spin kick right to the back of the head, gets the 1, 2, 3. So, match ends right after that with Roman coming down, spearing Rusev right after that. But that being said, though, folks, like I said, that's where we're going to get Sheamus versus Roman at SummerSlam, my guess. And that is it for this week's show, folks. So please do not forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel, go back, watch the other episodes. Look for me on Twitter at TimVicious. That is the only account. Do not fall for any substitutions out there, especially that fake one that was out there a few weeks ago, TimVicious1. If you see any fake accounts out there of being me, please report them and bring it to my attention. Also, I do have a backup account, Tim_Vicious. I'm also out there on that Facebook gimmick under the name Tim Ash. And do not forget, folks, to follow all of these cool-ass cats right here on Twitter. Axel Mulligan, Sunday Segway, Sinfully Sabrina, WWE Grandpa, Aaron_Deborah, my executive producer and the man who provided the music for this week's show, Mr. Oliver Ben, as well as my client, Bronx Bitch Forever. And, folks, like I always tell y'all, you love me great, you hate me. Fuck yous.